Hello everyone, in this session we are going to discuss in detail about SR flip-flop. Before going into detail with the SR flip-flop, we should know first what the flip-flop is. The basic building block that makes the computer memories possible and is also used in many sequential logic circuit is the flip-flop or bistable circuit. It has two states, logic 1 and logic 0. When the circuit is triggered or when the clock pulse is applied, this 1-bit memory changes its state. That is, if 1 is being already stored before prior to applying the clock, then it will change after applying the clock to 1. So this is how the flip-flop is used to store 1-bit data. So the data will be stored until and unless the power is called off. It is also called as bistable latch. The SR flip-flop can be considered as a 1-bit memory cells as it stores the input pulse even after it is passed. Flip-flops of different types can be made from logic gates and with other combinations of logic gates. These type of flip-flop can be made by using NAND gate and NOR gate. So as you can see that this is the circuit for SR flip-flop, and in the dotted part, let me show you by highlighting this part. So this part is a 1-bit cell. This part is 1-bit cell. So this is what the this part of the circuit is acting as a 1-bit latch, also called as coupled inverter, and by just adding these two gates, the SR flip-flop is formed. This is the truth table showing the flip-flop, how the state of the flip-flop changes once the input is applied. So as there you can see that there in the SR flip-flop, S and R are the two input that is being provided to this flip-flop, and the clock is provided so that the state can be changed as I discussed earlier. So now here when the clock is not applied, that means when the clock is 0, even if you apply any input to these two SR pin, still we don't get any output, or it will be in its prior state or no change state. There will be no change in the output state. One more important thing to remember is there are two output Q and Q bar, which are always and should be complement to each other. That means whatever will be the output for Q, the Q bar should be the complement of it or inverted version of the Q output. That means if Q is 1, the Q bar has to be 0, and if Q bar is 0, the Q has to be 1. So likewise these two outputs should be for any flip-flop. So now if when the clock is applied, here the clock 1 is applied to change the state of the flip-flop. So when 1 is applied over here, then and the input S and R are 0, 0, at that time what happens, we have to consider some initial state of Q and Q bar. So let us assume that, so when this type of case happens, let us have a look in detail in the next part. So just for remembrance, when S and R is 0, there will be no change in the output state, that Q and Q bar will be in its earlier state. Now when S is 0 and R is 1, this state is called as reset state. This state is called as reset state. At this time, the output Q will be equals to 0 and Q bar equals to 1. This is the reset state. Next, when S is 1 and R is 0, S for set. So when set is 1, at that time the Q output will always equals to 1 and Q bar equals to 0. Now when the state is 1 and 1, at that time the condition will be raised. That means both the output will try to achieve the same state. So this state should be avoided. So let us go in detail to understand how this happens, how the output Q and Q bar changes and what is its output. So now when there is no clock applied, that means clock equals to 0, the output will be no change. Next, if S equals to R equals to 0, we need to assume some previous state. So here the previous state assume is Q equals to 1 and Q bar equals to 0. So as we can see that when Q equals to 1 and Q bar equals to 0, so this 1 is applied to the input to this NAND gate 2 and R is by default 0. So output of this NAND gate 4 will be 1, Q is 1, so the output for this NAND gate 2 will be 0. So Q bar in that case what we get will be 0. So as you can see that the Q bar equals to 0 was the previous state that was assumed, and after applying the proper input S equal to R equals to 0, still we get Q bar equals to 0. Similarly, we can also prove that Q is equals to 1 when S equals to R equals to 0. So this is how the state of the output at the recent time will have no change at its output when the input S and R is 0, 0. Next, when S equals to 0, R equals to 1 and clock equals to 1. S0, R1 and clock 1. So, when S equals to 0 and R equals to 1 in this diagram, then output of NAND gate 3 will be 1. For S equals to 0, the NAND gate 3 output will be 1, and R equals to 1, the output of this NAND gate 4 will be equals to 0. So this S equals to 0 will produce the output of S equals to 1, then 1, and the Q bar 1 will give the output equals to 0. So Q bar will be equals to 0 in this case when S equals to 0, that is case number 3. Okay. Similarly, for case 4, when S equals to 1, so when S equals to 1 in this case, and this clock is also 1, so 1 and 1, the output of S equals to 0. So if any one of the input is 0, then the output Q will be equals to 1. So this proves that when S equals to 1, Q will always be equals to 1, that is output will always be equals to 1. What happens when S equals to R equals to 1? At that time, when S equals to R equals to 1, so 1, 1, the output of NAND gate 3 will force to be equals to 0. Similarly, the output of NAND gate 4 also will force to equals to 0. So even if the output Q and Q bar initially is 0, that will make both the NAND gate output 1 and 2 to be at the same state and will try to occupy the same state. So this condition is called as race condition. That means both the NAND gate 3 and 4 tries to become 0. Hence both the output Q and Q bar tries to becomes 1, which is not allowed. This is the indeterminate state of the flip-flop and is also called as race condition. We should always avoid this type of condition in the flip-flop. Thank you very much.